Khan is also joined. Honorable Director, sir, Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Jennifer Castillo has already joined. Honorable Director, sir.
Yeah, that's really honor, and the warmth with which like she interacts, that's really inspirational. So that's very I think inspiring, and I'm sure this session is going to be wonderful, because as per her profile, as I could understand, that she has been means a very live personality in terms of the kind of charity and the kind of gender issues she has taken up at different levels, starting with a humble beginning and now really making a global impact. So that's, ma'am, it's an honor to really host you in this program, and I'm sure under your guidance, WIE this student chapter will definitely blossom, because in the beginning itself we are getting your blessings. So it's really something as a great motivator. So we are really looking forward for the session. Yeah,
thank you very much. Oh my gosh, thank you for the invitation and the kind word. If you don't mind, can I make a quick test in my screen? I just want to make sure that I am sharing the audio. There is a video in my presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Now you can share. We have given you permission, ma'am. You can share, please.
So somebody is sharing the screen, so I'm going to steal it from that person. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. He did it already. So share sound. Okay. So let me just move my. Can you please let me know if you hear the sound?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Of the video.
It's easy to put people in boxes.
Yes, ma'am. We can listen.
Perfect. So I will stop sharing now. And I think I'm ready now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. We will start the program at 7 p.m. So we are. So after 4 minutes, we will immediately start the program.
I lost you for quite a little bit, but I understand that we will start the program soon, correct?
Yes, ma'am. At 7 p.m. At 7 p.m.
In 4 minutes.
We will start the program.
Yes,
4 minutes. Yes, ma'am. Sandhya ma'am, am I audible? Sandhya ma'am.
Yes, sir, you are completely audible.
And anchor is ready.
Yes, sir, she is also ready.
Okay. So I will inform you and we start the program.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Khadan? Dr. Khadan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Honorable patron of this program has joined. So,
Okay.
means as the time starts, you can start on schedule time. The rest will keep joining.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So now, Anchor, it is over to you. Now we can start the program, please.
A very good evening to one and all present here. Today, I am Mehani Fatima from PSIT Kanpur, serving as chair at IEEE RS PSIT student branch. Today, we are going to start day 3 of membership development program and leadership training. It is huge honor for us. Today, we have some prominent male and female professionals with us, especially Honorable Patron and Additional Executive Director, SRMCEM Lucknow, Engineer Pooja Agarwal Ma'am, Honorable Chief Guest cum Speaker, Professor Jennifer Castello Ma'am, Chair at IEEE, elected Director for the year 2022-23, IEEE Region I Senior Member, and Professor Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhan, Director SRMCEM Lucknow, are present among us. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhan, sir, for the welcome address.
Thank you, anchor of the program. I, on behalf of the founder of SRMCM, Engineer Pankaj Agrawal ji, Executive Director, as well as co-founder, Engineer Pooja Agrawal ji, and other stakeholders of the institute, including faculty and staff, and on behalf of IEEE UP section, Membership Development Committee, and IEEE SRMCEM branch, feel privileged and honored to welcome one and all on the board. I feel honored to welcome in particular the patron of this program, Engineer Pooja Agrawal ji, who is not only the co-founder of this group, that is Sri Ram Sarup Memorial Group, and she is also pro-chancellor of the sister university of this. But the particular part is that they have changed the dynamics of the Eastern UP region in particular by nurturing the quality education, and in particular the technical education. So that's really honor, ma'am, to have you here. And considering the theme of the program, that is leadership training, and in particularly today, our chief guest, she is going to address on that gender issue in the team, which we keep dealing with. So if we know the right guidelines, then of course we are able to perform better. And I really feel honored on behalf of the team that the academic leader and Dr. Engineer Pooja Agrawal ji is very much there. She is a visionary, and she is a good orator also, exemplary orator. So I am sure the chief guest will also share a relationship in follow-up, because both the persons are very charismatic in their conducts and in the way they take on different tasks and take it to the global level. So, ma'am, I really feel privileged, as well as offer a deep sense of gratitude that despite your hectic schedule, you have given a time. At the same time, the chief guest, who is a very live person, and the way she started humbly as a volunteer in Women in Engineering, and Women in Engineering in IEEE, which is the largest technical society, has created its mark. And she has been very, very versatile in terms of the different tasks that she has taken on at different levels, both in the corporate sector and particularly in terms of the contribution of the women's in engineering sector. Ma'am, I think as a patron, our ma'am also, who is here, she is also from an engineering background. She has been gold medalist at an undergraduate level, and then she decided to take a career in academics itself. And she is an edupreneur, well-known edupreneur in Northern Indian regions. So beside the takeaway to all of those who will be attending in terms of how to deal with the gender issues, I think these two personalities will keep inspiring them how to conduct and make a significant contribution in the field of technical education. So I convey as well as welcome Dr. Jennifer Castillo, and this topic is really something which is very exciting in terms of really involving this so-called 50%, because our Honorable Prime Minister, he also keeps saying that if you want to make a big contribution, of course, not only you have to give respect to the other gender, but also involve them and work as a peer without any difference. So I'm sure listening to the chief guest will be a very, very positive thing as to take a takeaway. ISC President is also there, Professor Bhaskar Pandey. I also welcome him. I feel honored to welcome Professor Rehan Ahmed, who is a key member at IEEE UP section, and he is an exemplary academician who has worked not only as an academician of repute, because he is a HOD of electrical engineering and dealing in the university, Aligarh Muslim University, very close to Vice Chancellor, not only to electrical department, but handling different affairs of the university. At the same time, he has changed the dynamics of Aligarh in terms of electrical scenario. The solar power projects, at a national level are exemplary, the way they have been showcased and projected by Government of India. So an academician making a benchmark in industry and particularly in public sector, the way he started in Aligarh Muslim University to make its electrical system exemplary, and then taking on to the city, and then even the commissionery. So I think it's not possible to describe. It's only the inspiration that we can take away, that we know that at national level and international level, there are less than 10% persons, probably even close to 5%, who are able to make a balance as an academician and in the industry, and eventually implement the outcomes of academics into industry, and then give the enhanced learning to the students, relating with the practical example. I think, sir, it's an honor to have you wherever you are there on forums, and the way you really put the case studies in front of the students, both in context of technical as well as in networking case, how to deal with the bigger team and larger team. I'm sure you must have had different interaction with the gender issues also. So listening to you, I'm sure you will make a balance, because your topic is specific, but I'm sure the topic on which our chief guest is going to speak, I'm sure Professor Rehan will also throw a light, because your career has been extraordinary as an academician. So I know this session is going to be overwhelming in many sense, and I really, without taking much time, I really hand over to the anchor, and I feel privileged, and also will be failing in my duty if I do not appreciate the talent of our IEEE Dr. Khadim Moin Siddiqui, IEEE advisor, but in particular Dr. Sandhya Srivastava. She has started very recently, but the way she is pushing hard the Women in Engineering chapter and make a mark at a national level, as well as of course at the section level, is definitely praiseworthy. So I congratulate IEEE membership development team, and in particularly SRMCEM and IEEE UP section Women in Engineering team, to really live up to the expectation of our global chair of Women in Engineering. Ma'am, I'm sure you have been keeping track of UP section as well as India Council, and I'm sure you will keep track of these branches also, where you are patronizing and blessing. So this session is going to be wonderful and memorable, and we wish all the best and congratulate all the persons for really taking up these issues, and I'm sure in vote of thanks they will be appreciating with a specific remarks once this session ends. So heads off to the organizing team, and over to the anchor. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. It is my great honor and pleasure to introduce Honorable Pooja Agarwal, ma'am, Pro-Chancellor of SRM Barabanki, Additional Executive Director of SRM GPC Lucknow. Mrs. Pooja Agarwal, an educationist and entrepreneur by profession, is an erudite, charming, compassionate trailblazer, fine orator, whose thirst for learning and proficiency motivates her to consistently scale new heights of perfection. She graduated from IIT Kanpur with a Bachelor of Technology degree in Civil Engineering, and also received Gold Medal for Academic Excellence, with a vision of bringing world-class engineering and management education to the youth of Uttar Pradesh. She, along with her husband Pankaj Agarwal, who is a gold medalist from IIT Kanpur, laid foundation of SRMGPC in Lucknow in the year 1999. Her eye for precision won the group many awards, and today SRMGPC is considered among best educational institution in UP. She has functioned as the heart of SRMGPC, stressing honesty, commitment, initiative, and dedication. She works consistently, endorses value based education, and encourages faculty and students. She launched two software companies, SRDT and STPL, offering digital technology solutions in media, entertainment, education, enterprise, content management, and e-publishing space. Mrs. Pooja Agarwal is also spearheading the corporate social responsibility initiative of the group. An initiative, Apni Pachala, was taken by her in the year 2005 to protect undermined rights of children like right to education, right to nutrition, right to health, right to shelter, and right to protection. She addressed and chaired Tensor Society of India at AMU, Convergent Minds Conclave by TOI, Ministry of Commerce, Confederation of Indian Industries, IITs, IIMs, and many more. Her professional, entrepreneurial, and philanthropic success involves various awards. She was conferred the Best Woman Entrepreneur Award for 2017 in the field of education by Association Women Foundation, recognized as Trailblazer and Changemaker by Jagran Group in 2016, nominated as Outstanding Women Achiever at FICCI FLO Awards at Lucknow, Kanpur. Felicitated with the Hindustan Times Women Achiever Readers' Choice Awards in the year 2015, awarded by Help You Foundation as an Outstanding Women Achiever in the year 2014, acknowledged as Women Achiever by the Lucknow Management Associated in 2013. The list is too long, but we have shortage of time. So now it's over to you, Pooja Agarwal, ma'am.
Namaskar. Thank you so much for such a generous introduction, and I guess a pretty long one. On behalf of Ramsuru family, I extend my heartiest welcome and adorance to the fact that people from all around the world have joined us for this conference, 4-day conference. If I'm not 4-day conference. Thank you so much for connecting with our group, the chapter of our college, Dr. Jennifer, and people from all around who are now listening to me and are spending another 1 hour or so with us. IEEE, as we all know, is one of the biggest chapters of professionals who are in some capacity or the other contributing towards the cause of technology. Technology is something which is a common thread between all of us who are connected through this platform called IEEE, be it in the form of a faculty or a student or an organizer. And also, I am very delighted to know that we have affinity groups in IEEE organization, which also gives a chance to a lot of people who are not from technical background to contribute towards this whole humanitarian cause. Why humanitarian in nature? Because technology standalone is nothing. Eventually, it is for society, by society, and of the people, as we say in the Constitution of India. It's for you, for us. So anything that is not benefiting people at large is something that is a wasted effort. That is very important. And we also realize the fact that whatever we do and wherever we put our energies, eventually the end result should be a productive, progressive society where our lives are made easier than yesterday, and we have a brighter tomorrow to look forward to. Now we have hundreds and thousands of examples where we know that a lot of people have contributed towards technology. I need not emphasize on the fact how India as a country has played phenomenal role in uh, making the whole world aware of technology, mathematics, science, astronomy. I mean, you name a field and we have been there. We have been there not just as contributors, but as pioneers. I really wish and I really hope that all the people who are sitting in the capacity of teachers here and who have the power to control that 1 hour of teaching, give this perspective to the students and the level of confidence, how our people from past, whether they are Indians, whether they are Europeans, whether they're Americans, any ethnicity, any gender, any culture you belong to, how our ancestors have contributed towards this beautiful, the world that we see today. Sitting here, we see Mars, we see planets, we see black hole, we see whatnot. All this is possible because of a comprehensive and collected effort of our scientists. So it's a matter of great pride, not only to us as Indians, that we have contributed so much to the growth of humanity as a whole. In this, I was just looking for some general stories. You know, I believe in communicating my thoughts through stories. And I feel that rhetorics and cliche, they get lost in the narratives, but stories remain. So I have a very interesting story here, which I want to narrate and just tell you how IISc, which is one of the topmost science institutions of India, it came into place. You know, if you go back and just read about those interesting stories of emergence of these institutions, they are very overwhelming and very inspiring. We ourselves are blessed to be in a profession where we are pioneers and we are founders of Ram Sarup College. And you all are a part of this team, and you are a part of, whenever they are going to write history, your name will be there. I'm sure, because you are a very, very important member of our team. So coming back to IISc, it just happened that Jamshedji Tata was once traveling to Germany, and he stood at the door of a first-class cabin in Streamliner. He noticed a lot of hush-hush and activity going on in the lower decks of the ship. On inquiring, he learned that a great Indian saint, none other than Swami Vivekananda, was on board on the same ship. Out of genuine respect and curiosity, J.N. Tata decided to pay a visit to the great saint. Swami Vivekananda had, of course, heard of the respected industrialist. As the conversation grew, J.N. Tata explained that he was on his way to Germany, and he said, I have with me sacks of soil from various parts of India. I'm taking these samples of soil to Germany. I wish to know if iron can be extracted profitably from any of these districts. J.N. Tata told the saint. To which Swami Vivekananda replied, well, sir, even if these sacks contain iron in its soil, do you honestly believe that somebody would share their part of technology and knowledge with you? So why don't we build our own institutions? Do you believe that the Germans will tell you the truth? I mean, nothing against Germans, but I mean, it goes with any country. Nobody believes in sharing technology. It's a very secretive world. You must understand that strong, steel, rich, economically independent India will create magic. The soil is probably rich in iron ore, but the sad truth is all that you will get from your inquiries might not be very pleasing to. Needless to say, having interacted with several Europeans, J.N. Tata knew what Swami Vivekananda said was absolutely true. Why don't you start an excellent up-to-date research facility and college here in India? Vivekananda insisted. Why don't you train some of your good youngsters from India to identify soil and conduct these tests and find ways to profitably extract metals? It may seem like a wasteful, burdensome expenditure right now, but in the long run, it will save you many trips to Europe. You can have the assurance of knowing the truth quickly and accurately, rather than taking opinions from outside. As he could clearly sense, J.N. Tata was in the mood to acquire land and establish an institution of reputation. Seeking an audience with the Maharaja of Mysore, though a subordinate of the British, he will definitely help you in some way or the other, Swami Vivekananda said. His Highness Wadeyar has been generous enough to sponsor my own trip to Chicago to attend the Parliament of Religions. You remember Swami Vivekananda's the very famous lecture that he delivered in 1893 at Chicago. I'm sure most of you must have heard about the most famous lecture of all times at Chicago, where he referred the audience, Sisters and Brothers of America, which was a game changer. You know, please go back and read that article. It's beautiful. That whole lecture by Swami Vivekananda is just amazing. And one more fact before I move on to the rest of the story is we all know 9/11. Do you know this lecture which Swami Vivekananda delivered in Chicago? It happened on 9/11. So let's cherish 9/11 with our own legacy and traditions, and why 9/11 should be celebrated for a good reason and why it should be mourned for a bad reason. The thing that I'm trying to say, it should not be known only for bad reasons. It should be known for good reasons. Everything has a good and bad side. So coming back to my story, the Maharaja of Mysore did not disappoint Tata. The king granted 370 acres of land for setting up research facility and college that J.N. Tata had envisioned, and he named it the Indian Institute of Science. This story in spirit is authentic. Letters exchanged between J.N. Tata and Swami Vivekananda are available in archives. We are academicians. We can go and check the dates. The main point made by Swami Vivekananda was that Tatas shouldn't just bring a technology to India. They should prepare indigenous technologists to sustain that technology. After J.N. Tata got the land from the king of Mysore, he asked Swami Vivekananda to head this institute, but he declined. The first program that started at Tata Institute was about, very easy to guess, metallurgy. So metallurgy took a big leap because Indian Institute of Science came into picture. That is the power of technology and how it is inspiring youth even till date after decades of its existence is what is important. IEEE is doing a phenomenal job connecting not only to people who are learners, but also who are imparting knowledge and who are making the next generation think on how to think and not on what to think. There lies the difference. The whole power of think and idea can change the world. And every new invention was mocked and fooled at. But eventually, we started believing. When we were children, we never believed that we will have a small toy in our hand and we can talk to our distant relatives. That was not even in our dreams. Today, it's a reality. So IEEE should take it as it is already working on a lot of projects. But we as colleges should encourage more innovation, more thought-provoking ideas, and encourage those ideas to come to reality, even if they fail, but they will leave back some traces and some footprints. That is my belief. And on this belief, I would like to again congratulate the entire team of this conference to take up this whole idea of having conference deliberations. Now, just quickly, 1 minute on the topic, which is gender differences in the team. Well, I don't think so that gender differences is a very positive frame for the topic. You know, wherever diversity comes, it never creates differences. It always bridges the gap. So gender specific team, if you just talk of the male team or just talk of the female team, diversity is missing. Then overall, that whole idea of functioning together, coordinating and infusing different thoughts, creativity and intellectual aspect to any project goes missing. So needless to say that diversity is most important. Diversity can be in the form of gender diversity, cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, age diversity. The whole idea is that people of intellect and creativity should pool in and pitch in their thoughts into making any project to reality. And whenever people from different backgrounds, they come and join hands to take any task, they always add value. That is my belief. Again, another belief here to reinstate. You bring with yourself a whole set of value system to the project, and you are very important. You don't create differences, you create magic. IEEE, you are there to create magic. Thank you so much for listening to me, and all the best for future conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with your kind words and for that inspiring story.
Thank you.
It is my great honor and pleasure to introduce Dr. Mohammad Rehan, Vice Chairman of IEEE UP section and professor at AMU Aligarh. He is a gold medalist of BTech EE and has done significant research work in areas of smart grid and solar energy. Dr. Rehan has authored a book on advanced control system and contributed an invited chapter on application and requirements of smart grid in a book published by Springer Nature. He is a senior member of IEEE and an executive committee of Delhi local network of IET UK. It is so impossible to mention his every single accomplishment because they are a lot. Kindly, sir, enlighten us with your kind words.
Thank you very much. Chief Professor Jennifer and organizers as well as participants of the. I'm very happy to be part of this event this evening, and I would like to continue from where the patron of the institute, Ms. Pooja Agarwal, has mentioned some things. I would like to continue, take over from there. So basically, she has mentioned two very important things. One is the use of technology for the pursuit of technology, just not for the sake of pursuit only or studying. It should lead to the benefit of society. This is a very important point, and it matches with the motto of IEEE also. The idea behind IEEE is that the technology for humanity. This is the motto of IEEE. And what we expect, what we encourage, what we motivate volunteers, students, and faculty to work on the problems which are important for the society, for our country, for our state, for our city. So that is the motto of IEEE. Second very important point she has mentioned related to secrecy of inventions. That some societies, some countries, some people, when they invent something, they tend to keep it secret. So the original idea, the idea which led to the foundation of IEEE is, it was actually sharing of knowledge. So unlike the inventors, the idea of the founders of IEEE was to provide a platform where people can share their knowledge and that knowledge should be used for advancement of humanity. Now the problem has been for some time what is happening that as somebody has said that the world has problems, but the universities or colleges have departments. So we have been pursuing within the walls of our department areas of study, but we are coming up at the intersection of different disciplines, where it is interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, even transdisciplinary. So here also I believe the bodies of IEEE, like IEEE students branch, like why women in engineering like site. These groups, what they do, they provide a platform to the students to work, collaborate with the students of other branches, other areas. So this interdisciplinary nature, promotion of this is also an important part of IEEE activities. And another important thing which I would like to share is that this concept of student branch by site, what it does, it prepares the leaders for tomorrow, because one of the your program is related to leadership training also. So see, these branches, these chapters are for the students, by the students, they are run by the students. So you see what the students learn there. They learn all the leadership traits also. They learn how to work in a team. Sometimes you have to work in a team. Sometimes you have to lead the team also. So you have to be a good member of a team as well as you should be a good leader also. Then they make you learn how to succeed. That is one part, of course. But they also make you learn how to fail also, how to deal with failure. So this type of training these IEEE platforms provide to the students. And I can say it with confidence that whatever little I can do in my professional career, lot of credit goes to the bodies like IEEE, the activities which I have been performing from the student life itself. So these activities, these platforms provide a very good opportunity to the students to grow in their career, in their personal life also. And on that note, as Vice Chair of IEEE section, I would like to especially mention that SRMCEM, I have no doubt in saying that has been probably the best performing institute in the section for last 2 years, at least 2-3 years. And I am sure that the credit goes to the leadership of SRMCEM. I have seen the director, Professor Bhavesh Chauhanji, he has been doing a lot of work. And without the support of leadership, you could not have done so much under your IEEE setup. And of course, you have a very good volunteer in Dr. Khadim and his friend. These are two people who have been doing very well. So I congratulate the organizers, especially the leadership and the office bearers of IEEE student branch. And this by concept is a very important, and I would say it has gained a lot of momentum all over the world. And you see, historically, the representation of women was less in engineering. And I don't think it had anything to do with capability, in relation to capability. There are some historical reasons, but it has been, the gap has already been bridged. And the Y platform, the idea is to have a dedicated platform for women, female, but as you know, the males can also be members of Y. It is not restricted to females, but the leading positions, the leadership and driving forces are female students. And I have, in my career, I have seen that female students have been often the better performing students in engineering. So I don't think there is any hindrance to that. And female students have been doing very well. And we have many examples in this event also. There are many examples of female students doing very well in leadership positions also. So I wish you all the luck for this program, and I thank you for inviting me for this event. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your kind words. Now, I would like to cordially invite Professor Jennifer Castillo, ma'am, to enlighten us with few points on the topic gender differences within the team by telling us importance of diverse teams. She is a mechatronics engineer, graduated from San Buenaventura University in Bogota, Colombia. MBA International Enterprises from the Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico. Currently works for Parker Hannifin Corporation Fortune 250 company, where she is the territory manager of the Caribbean, in charge of business development in all the different islands and the Guyanas. IEEE senior member, being part of IEEE as member and volunteer for 16 years. Y Committee Chair 2021. She has been awarded with IEEE MGA Achievement Award, Outstanding Volunteer Award Oscar C. Fernandez, and IEEE Region 9 Theodore Hesse Award. Now, I would like to request ma'am to kindly enlighten us with her few words.
Thank you very much, everybody. Hello, good evening there. It's morning here. I will start very quickly the presentation now, as I do need to drop the call in 25 minutes. So let's go ahead. And thank you very much for the invitation. Well, first of all, I'm not a professor. I am actually in industry. I do have an MBA, and that's the path and career that I chose. And that shows how important diversity is important in IEEE. It's important to have all type of members from different regions, from different disciplines. And as was mentioned before, diversity is not only about gender, but it's about so many things that is encompassed there. One thing that I would like to highlight is every time that I do many different presentations, there is one that I do that is about the skills that I have gathered in IEEE and IEEE we throughout my different positions. And as it was mentioned before, I started from the student branch WIE Affinity Group Chair, and I have grown and I have had some good experiences in IEEE. And one thing that I always highlight is I really feel that being part of this multicultural environment from a very early age in IEEE is what actually makes of all of us a natural diverse and inclusive professional. And I'm glad that the student branch is doing this and is focusing on this, because it's important to have these discussions from an early age. This is what is going to make you in a future an example of diversity and inclusion. But not only that, this is going to make you a great leader, a fantastic professional with great results. And we are going to talk about that today. Why is it going to impact your results? So there we go. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. And today I'm going to talk about the importance of diverse teams to all of you. So the first thing that I would like for you to think about, and now that I came back from India, I think that is diversity in English in India is so beautiful. So this is going to be a nice in this. And you can see that she is a strong, a very loyal, a very brave and a person, and she has the chi. And the chi is this mystic energy that is supposed to be only given to males, because males were the only ones that were supposed to be part of the warriors. You know, they were supposed to be the only ones accepted in the defense team. So she had to hide it. And not only that, to be able to replace his dad, and for his dad to not be called to the war, she dressed up as a male. So it caught my attention, and we will circle back to this at the end of the presentation. So the first thing that I would like to start with is by acknowledging something that many of you may know already, and is that there are gender differences. Yes, I love to think, and you can see in my background, we can achieve so many things or everything, but we achieve it in different ways. And there are gender differences that we need to acknowledge and embrace. That's what makes it beautiful. So there are physical and emotional factors that come into play, and we're going to talk about the emotional ones also as well today, but physical is evident. There are stereotypes related to the genders, and we are going to touch on that too today. There are differences in perception from genders to genders, and I love this picture because it shows what we are trying to say, and is women tend to be a wider variety of colors. This is very simple, but it's true. And men, they do see colors, but they don't see such a variety. You know, they are a bit more limited, and not limited in a bad way. They just keep it simple. And for them, pink is pink, and we have different shades of pink. And those are the difference of perception. It's something so simple that if you see in a bigger topic, is going to be even more relevant. So we need to understand that. The approach to problem solving is also different between us, and we are going to talk about that today as well. Women feel and men tend to be more pragmatic, and also we're going to discuss this again in the presentation. And this is something even chemical in our bodies tend to be. But one thing that is important that we understand is we cannot put people into boxes. So every rule has its exception. Every man, many men can see a variety of colors. And actually, my favorite colorist, my hair colorist, is a man, and he actually knows about that much more than myself. And there are many women that are very pragmatic. I tend to be very pragmatic, although I tend to be also emotional. So it's a balance of those, and every rule has its exceptions. The most important thing is we cannot put people into boxes. That's important. So when I was doing the MBA, one of the teachers told me, hey, you should read this John Gray's approach of Mars and Venus conversations. This is a book, and it's a controversial book, actually. There are many people that do not believe this is true, and there are many people that believe this is true. So that's why she's recommended me to read it. And what I did was, let's see what it sounds, what it makes sense, you know. There was Dr. Pooja was telling this, and it's not about telling people what to think, but showing people how to come to their conclusions, right? How to start thinking. And that's what I did. I was like, I'm not going to buy it. I just want to analyze what is here. So I did a quick comparison between one and the other. And men and women, and this is weird because I do acknowledge there are many genders. So let's start with the two general ones, but it is not limited to these by any means. So the first thing is the men, they suffer high stress of levels, but women tend to have twice as high. We tend to stress over a bit more or much more. So starting with that, we can start understanding each other. When there is a stress, what men produce is testosterone, and what women produce is oxytocin. And the difference between both is testosterone, the men needs to be useful. They need to come with solution. They need to be the ones that solve quickly. In oxytocin, the need is the women needs to be to feel valued, loved. It's the sugar in our body. So it's a kind of different reaction that we have to stress, correct? And it's not something we can just manage. This is nature. So what happened is, again, since the men would like to get into action, they would like to look for solutions to problems. And women, on the other hand, they would like to communicate first. They would like to understand what is happening, look for communication. And that's how the approach to solve solutions start varying a little bit. And if we understand this, it's easier later on to work together as well. So I mentioned this before, the men with this is inspired when they feel useful, when they feel they solve something, and the women is inspired when they feel valued, when they feel loved. So we men tend to work on their own and take risks, and this is very much based on how they feel useful and they would like to solve the problems. And men and women, since we want to look for communication, we tend to be a bit more cooperative and more like looking for the team to see how can we work it out together. Once again, it's important that we understand that this is not a box. This is just what is in this book that gives some of the facts that he found based on science. And once again, it's not for everybody. This doesn't apply to everybody. So the other thing that he highlights a lot is that the men, they look after themselves and the women look after others. And this came from the cavern age. You know, the men would go outside with animals and everything to hunt. The women will be in the cave with the family, correct? So from even those days, the men had to learn how to look for himself. It doesn't mean that they don't love their family, that they knew they had to take care of themselves because they have to come back with food. So it's a cycle, right? While women were in charge of families, so they learn how to look for each other. And that's how we have evolved, okay? Again, nothing like egos or selfishness here. Is just the way nature led us in that day. Now, let's move something forward with some other materials that I've come across. And all I'm sharing with you are the lessons on diversity and inclusion I've learned during my years. So I love this quote from Sheryl Sandberg from Facebook, and she also is the founder of Lean In, that has a lot of great materials to empower women. It's a website you can access it. It's fantastic. And she says that I want every little girl who's been told she's bossy to be told she has leadership skills. And this really got to my heart because I was that little girl that was bossy. And that's why I have a little thing here that says, I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. And it's not about feeling on some way. When a woman is bossy, a man is driven. And those are the kind of things that we need to start get over with. And again, this kind of worship is not only from men, women, it's in all genders that happens. On all gender identities. So biases will play a very important role when we try to understand each other. So we already talked about biology, right? We already talked about what are the facts that are affecting, and understanding those are important, but also understanding the biases that are implicit in the genders is important too. So for example, many tasks are assigned depending on the gender. Remember that in the retrospection, I told you, think about which are the tasks that are assigned in your diverse team. Because diversity is not only having different genders or different nationalities or different ages. It's about understanding that we are giving the same opportunities, that we are giving people opportunities that will bring their talents to their best, and in that way, the results to their best. So for example, women are very, very usually assigned to take notes or to bring refreshments. I cannot tell you how many friends of mine in engineering at the early careers were complaining about being the ones that were requested to bring coffee. So it happens. And I can also tell you that it has improved a whole lot, very much. So we need to appreciate also our times. But it's not only against women, it happens against men as well. So there is a box. Who is the one that is going to move the box? The men. So there are roles that are in both sides that are implicitly assigned, right? Again, I already gave you the example of driven versus bossy. And actually, I had to work with many distributors, companies in America. And one thing that I still cannot believe that it still happens is there are people that do not hire others, for example, in certain age of women, because they may get pregnant. And then we have to pay for them in their leave. And we will have a period without those hands, and it's an obstacle. So there are biases implicit, even if in our nature, physical nature, not only emotional nature. So we need to keep an eye on that and not be part of those biases. So are we getting the best out of our difference, or are we focusing on our biases? And another skill that I learned in IEEE in the VOLT training, the volunteer leadership training, you will learn about that in the future in IEEE if you keep as a young professional. In this training, it was fantastic. I am a graduate of 2016, and I went through these tests to understand who was I in a team. At the beginning, when I got this test, I was like, okay, I am good at this and this, and I'm not that good at this and that. I need to get better at this and that. And that was not the real deal. And I learned that with the time. It's very difficult to be good at everything. It's very difficult to excel every phase, and it's time consuming, draining, and probably you will not achieve it. And then you can also make the decision of, you know what, maybe what I will need to do is to have a team to surround it by people that are very good at this and that I am not. In that way, we complement each other, and our team is excelling every phase of a team, everything that a team needs to be good at. So it's better to get, for me, it's better to get the best of our difference instead of focusing on the biases, instead of focusing on what we think is lacking. So let's embrace, let us embrace the difference. And the first thing is difference improve organizational performance. I already told you about how important it is to have a team full of different talents. Because if I am good at this particular thing and other one is good at another particular thing, it is going to bring the best of all the talents and get the best results. When you have a different, a diverse team, and this is, I'm telling you this based on my business development, developing experience, you will understand a bit more the market you are focusing on and the customers that you are focusing on. Because you can be in research, for example, which is fantastic, but your research could be awesome. They can be targeted to solve what you understand is the future need of humanity. But if humanity doesn't concur with you, then all your research is going to be stored. And you want your research to actually make a great impact in humanity, right? So it's important to understand that market, and that only can be achieved by having diversity around you. If you are going to be an entrepreneur, if you are going to have your company, or if you manage to get to a managing position in a corporation, like is my career, talent acquisition and retention increases thanks to this. First of all, when you remove the biases and you focus on the great difference and embrace the differences, you will get the best talents out of the pool, but also you will have a wider pool. You will have more people where to choose from. And when the people feel valued from their difference, they will stick to you. They will stick in your company, and they will be part of your team. So retention increases. And this brings to a company's reputation. The reputation will improve, and that's good for you if you are an employee, and this is good for you if you own the company. Also, the people, when they feel valued, the people, when they feel they are learning from each other, the performance is going to be fantastic, and the motivation is going to be high, which is going to give you the best results and give them their best results. And in consequence, it will give society the best results. We are addressing the needs. We are including the people, and that creates a sustainable society. Now, what happened here? I told you about the understanding of the market and the customer, right? I read this many years ago, and I keep including this in my presentation because that for me was my brain explode. And it's the airbags. When the airbags were invented, they didn't used to be useful or functional for women and children. Why was that? Because they were designed to be activated and functional for the size and weights average in men. And you can imagine why. It was because there was no diversity at the moment of doing the research of the airbags. They didn't account others' physical features or physical characteristics. So this is it's already solved. It's been solved for years. But the first time that I heard that, it was for me like, this is a great example of why diversity and inclusion is important. Do you know how many millions of dollars they should have lost there, and how many, the reliability that it brought to a company? So just think about it. What if we don't embrace the difference and we focus a bit more on bias? First of all, communication will be challenging. We will not meet in the middle. We will not understand what is the position of the other person, and we will focus only on ours, and that will be difficult. It may increase the tense work environment. And nobody likes to work in an environment where you don't feel comfortable, when you feel that it's difficult to navigate. There are careers where men are also discriminated, and this is something I really want to bring to the table, because many times that we talk about diversity, we think about the discrimination of all the genders except men. And I'm not trying to say it's not been that way for years. We will have a graph at the end of this presentation, but let's understand that this is a balance. We cannot, for example, in my team, in WIE committee, I was suffering because I didn't have men. And I was trying to tell everybody, your representative in my committee doesn't have to be the women in the room. It has to be the person that would like to support our goals, right? So I included some men appointed, and not as a token. I want to have their feedback. I want to have they should not feel like just a token, but somebody that is bringing value. So that's important too. Incompetent employees can be promoted. When you have this focus on biases and not on embracing the difference, you will not be promoting the most qualified one many times. You will promote the one that you have to because it fits in certain description. Careful with that. It is going to affect your results, therefore your metrics, and you're not going to be as successful as you think you could. And the profitabilities of the companies can be affected. What happened here is, first of all, men keep earning more than women. It's a fact. But then you are going to be paying to somebody, even if it is men, women, any gender that you thought has to be that gender because that is the gender that fits for this work. And you're going to be paying for somebody that is not going to give you the best results. So it's a cost that is not well invested. And then you will have a longer learning curve, because if it is not the person that can bring you the solutions and the knowledge and the talents that you were looking for, you need to teach them. It's going to also create costs, and also your results are going to be longer term. So when I did this, when my teacher in the MBA invited to read this, she also invited me to do a quick survey in my classroom. Be careful with this, because the sample of this survey will not represent a larger society. This is just one classroom in one specific country, in one specific culture. So it doesn't represent the global culture, but I just want you to see something that I saw that I found interesting. So let's start with the first one. Do you think gender difference in the workplace is a matter of perception? And 29% of them replied yes. And it's important to understand that there are people that still do not think this is a situation, right? And here is where the funny part begins. Would you agree that there are jobs that certain gender may not be able to perform? So you will see that here we will have maybe, and here we will have I don't know. I don't know is the portion that I was very attracted to, because I think that actually, I don't know is a way to say, for example, yes to this one, but I don't want to say it. You know what I mean? Even if it is anonymous. So you can tell that there are people that knows there is something in their beliefs they should be reevaluating, but it's still taking a little time for them to cross that line. And again, we were raised in different cultures with different environments. And there are people that needs right now statements to be diverse, inclusive, to have some equity in their jobs. And for many years, for me, it was like, you shouldn't need a statement. But you know what? There are people that need a statement. They were raised in certain moments of the history in certain place. And if that is what it takes, let's work it out together. Let's understand these people that don't know and work it out together, because we need to put a lot of empathy in this recipe, a lot of empathy in this masala for this to become a great curry, okay? Do you think there are biological differences between genders that determine the way we solve problems? And here again, we have the maybe. The maybe are the ones that don't know, that really they would say yes, but they may think that they are affecting somebody. Would you prefer a male leader at your workplace? And again, I don't know. I don't know is the ones that maybe yes, but they don't want to say it. So important. So why is it important for us to talk about this? And why is it relevant for us to still talk about this? I told you, we have come a long way, right? Very long way. We have improved very much, but we still see this in the news. We still see many cases from global corporations that are still sued on gender discrimination, on unequal pay, on lack of opportunity. And we're going to talk about here of cases, or we are touching here in this slide cases that were the first one in 1948, but are as recent as 2019. And I didn't look for the more recent ones. I should, and I'm sure I'm going to find. So let's understand that, and are not small names, are big names. Actually, in 2020, Uber was here. So let's think about it. It's not something, sometimes when we are studying and we are pure in our intentions in terms of diversity, we think that's society. And we need to understand that society is getting there, but slowly. And we need to be positive and proactive to promote this. So, other thing that we already talked about biology, we already talked about the difference, the biases. Now let's talk about the challenges. And let's acknowledge something. We do have different challenges. We do have. And now I'm going to get in the women's side, because we need to understand that this affects a lot the women. Again, not only women, many genders are affected, but here women are affected, and cultures and races. So the first one is unequal pay is a thing. It's still a thing, and we need to keep working towards that gap to be closed. What is unequal pay? When you two do the same, when you have similar experiences, and yet some gender gets more paid than others, just because of the gender. That has to be addressed. I suffer of that, and I left the company because of that. Sexual harassment still happens, And the thing is, we're getting to a moment of life that it's important to understand that sexual harassment is not only a final act. It's many different stages. And with that, we need to be very careful. And in terms of if you suffer of sexual harassment, make sure you understand which are the ethics lines, and also make sure that if you feel this is going to affect your advance in your career, you also make decisions. We are not trees. We are not trees. We can move and we can make decisions. Nothing is going to be justification for this, and this should not affect your career. Racism is a thing, and I'm going to let this one to the end because I have a nice chart for you to see this. And the other one is less opportunities. And in fact, we still have less opportunities. And after the pandemic, it got worse because during the pandemic, the caregiving was very related to women, whether it is for babies, toddlers, elders. It was very related to women. So you could see, for example, I am in industry, but I have an example for academic. The number of papers published by women during the pandemic dropped dramatically. And what happens when it happens? The opportunities are going to drop as well. So yes, we're coming a long way. We need to keep it real. We still have a long way to go. Good intentions should turn into action. So I told you, fantastic. We already have the statement. Now, what are we going to do with the statement? Statements are important because the statements is acknowledging. We need to focus on that, right? We need to address the situation. And companies are also have to show, the companies have to show also the willingness to work on it. For example, I will give you an example of my company, Parker. In my company, we have business resource groups, and the business resource groups are focused on addressing those gaps. I am part of PeerW, and it's the Women Advancement Business Resource Group in my company. I feel proud about it, and I feel my company is taking care of me. Those are the groups within the company that will support the women's professional development. But actually, my company is also opening new groups that address cultures, races. It's a conversation that we need to have. So it's fantastic. And we also have a VP of Diversity and Inclusion, which I find great. But eventually, this has to permeate the culture. And that's where I was telling you, I was part of multicultural teams, and that made me a very natural, diverse, and inclusive person. I embrace the cultures, and I love to learn about other cultures. And that's something that I feel that we can collaborate. We can have a lot of empathy and patience with our peers, but also collaborate to make sure that we point out whenever we see there's something that is not working well, there's something that could be better to include people, etc. Because we need to be part of this team. Now, let me show you this video. I am almost finished, and you will hear an audio. So embrace the video, it's beautiful.
It's easy to put people in boxes. There's us, and there's them. The high earners, and those just getting by. Those we trust, and those we try to avoid. There's the new Danes, and those who've always been here. The people from the countryside, and those who've never seen a cow. The religious, and the self-confident. There are those we share something with, and those we don't share anything with.
Velkommen. Jeg kommer til at stille jer nogle spørgsmål i dag. Nogle af dem kan godt være lidt personlige, men jeg håber, I vil svare ærligt på dem. Hvem herinde i rummet var klassens klovn? Hvem er bonusforældre?
And then suddenly, there's us. We who believe in life after death. We who've seen UFOs. And all of us who love to dance. We who've been bullied. And we who've bullied others. And then there's us, the lucky ones who've had sex this past week. We who are broken-hearted. We who are madly in love. We who feel lonely. We who are bisexual. And we who acknowledge the courage of others. We who have found the meaning of life. And we who have saved lives. And then there's all of us who just love Denmark. So maybe there's more that brings us together than we think. TV2 Denmark. All that we share.
Beautiful. The first time that I did a presentation for India was for me mind-blowing. I was in WIE recently appointed chair, and I was one of those that still had in her head that I need to understand the different needs of the different countries to make sure that we are addressing them. And for me, it was so beautiful to see that I want to say 80% of what you were going through was the same that I was going through. The common ground between genders, cultures, countries is huge, and we need to embrace it too. So to close with my point of Mulan, one thing that I loved about it is at the end, of course, she rises, she showed the chi, and if I am spoiling anybody's movie, that movie has been there for 20 years, so I'm so sorry, or more. But one thing that I loved about it is that she gathered the courage, and she was recognized first, it was by her peers. You can make a difference on others. You don't have to be a leader. You just have to be a great teammate. You can be a great peer. So make sure you don't feel you have to have any certain position to promote diversity and inclusion in your teams. And with this, I would like to close today by thanking you. And always remember, people do think that they are doing their part to support women's professional development. So I want to ask you, are you? And if so, think about what? Think about real actions. If you are doing real actions, like for example, the diverse, amazing team that put together today this event, thank you, and keep up that. Another thing that I wanted to work to show you today is, this is a chart that I was talking to you before. So this is a chart that shows from entry level to C-suite. For those that do not know, C-suite is the chief officers in the companies. And this shows how white women, men of colors, white women, and white women and white women of colors, which is the funnel to the C-suite. And you can see how the white men goes like wider, men of colors go a bit smaller, although this is changing a lot. White women, it begins in a very similar way that white men in entry level, but it starts narrowing. And the most effective one, women of color. But we're making a difference there. And last but not least, leaving you with this amazing quote from Drew Gilpin. She's the president of Harvard University. I am not the woman president of Harvard. I am the president of Harvard. And that's the kind of expression I would like to see in the future everywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We extend our sincere gratitude for your valuable time and expertise. Now, I would like to request all the participants to kindly post their queries related to the session in the chat box. Participants, kindly post your queries in the chat box.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm organizer, and I must say, am I audible, Anchor?
Yeah.
Yes. And I am very happy after listening this lecture, and I'm listening Jennifer ma'am from last 3 years. And today I have listened, and it was a different talk. And when I was in the leadership positions, and I have listened also to Jennifer ma'am when I was in the, and still I'm in the leadership position, then I always think, how can I do best? And I am very happy my colleagues here, Engineer Jyoti Vash, Engineer Sandhya Srivastav, and I am looking since 1 year they are doing so much hard work. And when I was doing in IEEE, now they have handled each and everything, and they are leading from the front. So thank you so much, Jennifer ma'am, and you can say we have learned a lot from you. And today all the participants, all other faculty participants, they also have learned from you. So I would
Thank you.
say, ma'am, your presentation and your energy give us a great enthusiasm to do work for the betterment of humanity at large for society. Thank you so much, Jennifer ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm glad that you saw something different. I really tried to change the presentations because otherwise I will get repetitive.
Yes. Now,
I just would like to let you know, we have to handle few questions this time because I do need to leave soon. I have a family commitment. I hope you understand. So happy to address.
Yes. We will give your email ID to participants, but now we will go for the official vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our honorable director, one minute. Our honorable director sir had joined. So, honorable director sir, give the presentation. Honorable Jennifer Castelio ma'am, honorable director sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Khadan, ma'am. I am sure there must be questions by others. I hope you will give them a platform to take questions, maybe through emails, or maybe if you can allow them 2-3 minutes. Of course, I congratulate you and your team, and in particular, as you mentioned, Jyoti Vash ma'am has been in background doing work, and she is a latest feather in the crop along with the Dr. Sandhya Srivastav. And Dr. Indu Prabha ma'am has also been doing. I was overwhelmed with the examples ma'am gave. Even her last ending note was also, I am not the woman president of Harvard, I am the president of Harvard. So even her videos, everything was like a very honest presentation. And the one which is really connecting across the globe, because I know that whichever be the country, she will connect with all those examples which were really data specific, because I really wonder, even if you change the cultures, there will not be a huge difference in terms of interpretation, because they are universal issues. Of course, the variation may be there, to certain extent, but not a radical difference. So meaning thereby we have miles to go. And the statement she really made that, your only good intentions are not sufficient, your actions are required. So that was also a very strong note, which is a message to all of us. And I'm sure all the male as well as female genders, they must have got a conviction and, automatically better understanding the issue. and also understanding the fact that it's a global perspective. We also really convey our gratitude to ma'am also, because she talked about self-reliance, that we should be able to make self-sufficient while using the technology. And so that sharing part was highlighted by Professor Rehan Ahmed also, that IEEE has been set up with the whole purpose of sharing that part. But the other recommendations by ma'am was also very significant. So I'm sure you will take a note of those recommendations, that how we can really make that these technologies useful to the local conditions. That's very, very important. The motto is there, the logo is there, and the recent proposal uh, given by the IISc president, Professor Bhaskar, to really adopt Kakori and really make a significant contribution in terms of technological solution. I think they are the female members along with the male. All of us can really contribute. So there is a lot to learn through this presentation. I am sure these will be very important document for all of us. And I congratulate your team, and particularly in Women Engineering chapter, the way it has been doing significantly. And the statistics are also changing. Even within India, I would like to bring to the kind knowledge of chief guest that in India, if we talk about 30 years back, the women in engineering were very few and far. But now there is a multifold. It's a radical change. Now the figures are not just significant, but very close. So particularly in metropolitan and city areas, the involvement of female members in engineering field has been very competitive. So I think there's a lot to learn. In fact, there's one more fact, though I know there is a constraint of time, but I'm compelled to share that in the merit list of the affiliating university to which we are affiliated, UP Engineering College, most of the UP Engineering College are affiliated. They are the toppers and the merit holders, and those who are performing well in different ways. They're always females. So that's an inspiration. So, but it's not like pointing out what you said rightly. It's not the woman. It's like all of us. So even mention of this out at times really confuses us. We should not just appreciate. We should really work like a team without really making a difference. So it's a lesson to learn that I will sum up. And thank you very much for Dr. Khadim for giving me this opportunity to offer a deep sense of gratitude to all the speakers. There was an array of speakers, and all of them were really inspirational in their conduct and behavior and the kind of life that they have carried. So I think that's a big takeaway for all of us. Thank you very much, Dr. Khadim.
Thank you so much, Honorable Director, sir. And your words are always a lot of inspiration for us in the last in the program. So, and now, Anchor, it is over to you, please. Now you can continue.
So, as ma'am is about to leave, I would like to request all of the participants to kindly switch on their camera for the group photograph.
Actually, Mehani first goes for voting, then after you. Okay.
I also,
Yes.
while everybody opens the camera, I am leaving my email in the chat box because I love to address questions, and I'm sorry I am a bit constrained today, but it is true.
To our honorable chief guest, speaker Jennifer Castillo ma'am, chair IEEE 2021 and director Region 9 for gracing this session with their inspirational thoughts on gender difference within the team. Well said by Grace Farrell, people share a common nature but are trained in gender roles, and women who seek to be equal with the man lack ambition. We only want gender equality, not a competition. Thank you, ma'am. You are an inspiration and motivator to all women who are trying to make their mark in the society. I would also like to express our deep gratitude to our Honorable Pooja Agrawal Ma'am, Patron, Additional Executive Director, SRMCM, Lucknow. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your insightful ideas, beautiful story, and motivation. As said by J.D. Anderson, feminism isn't about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It's about changing the world perceives that strength. Thank you, ma'am, for gracing this event with your presence. You are truly a role model for all of us to follow. Now, I would also like to put my thanks and appreciation for our guest of honor, Professor Mohammad Rihan Sir, Professor in Department of Electrical Engineering, AMU, Vice Chairman, IEEE UP Section. A big thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time for us and gracing the session. We are very grateful, sir. I must mention our thanks to our professor, Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhan, sir, Director, SRMCEM, Lucknow, for his support and contribution. And I would like to thank Dr. Khadim Moin Siddiqui, sir, HOD SRMCEM, Lucknow, for his commendable efforts in making this program successful. I would also like to give my appreciation to all the respected HODs, faculties, staff, and students for their participation in this program. And in last but not the least, I would like to thank all the known and unknown hands that contributed for the success of this program, especially Engineer Sandhya Srivastava, Organizing Secretary, MDP and Leadership Training, and some few students like Amber, Anand, Umehani, Anuj, Kamal, Anurag, and Ankit, and many more for their admirable efforts and work. Thank you all for your support and help. We all are very happy and grateful for this successful program. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I wish this conference enlighten us with all and provide us with approaches with the gender differences in the team. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Sir, for event closing announcement.
Yeah, the organizing team headed by Dr. Khadim Moinji and organizing secretary Dr. Sandhya Srivastava. I think we can, with the kind permission of the chief guest, we can close. But before that, I think we have to take a photograph.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Group photograph. So kindly show that.
So it is my kind request to all the participants, kindly switch on your camera so we can take photograph. Now, Amber, you need to take photograph for today's. Okay, sir. Yes, after taking photographs, kindly intimate.
The photograph has been taken. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, with the kind permission of Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhan, sir, now we all can leave the platform. The session has been closed. Thank you so much, Honorable Ma'am. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you very much, everybody. I love to talk about this, and I love that you did this today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
I'm sure you will keep blessing UP section and SRMCM branch and all other collaborating institute in time to come as well.
Oh my God. Thank you very much. I'm glad. Bye.